Hello everyone. I would like to welcome you to the wedding of Niicholas Cantillo and Natalie Boyer. The couple are so happy all of you could join them, especially the folks that traveled from outside the state to be here today. My name is Mike Day, a friend of both the bride and the groom. I met Niicholas when we were both working in London, and when we both moved back to the United States, I got the pleasure to meet Natalie. They would visit myself and my wife regularly in Chicago, and we always enjoyed their visits. Now, I did not ask the bride and groom why they selected me to officiate their wedding. Oh, you can all sit down. My apologies.
I didn't know.
That's a good thing.
Well, a lot of them, but.
So, I came up with 3 ideas why they asked me to officiate their wedding. 1, it's more personable and memorable to have a friend officiate. I think that makes a lot of sense. 2, Niicholas actually officiated my wedding. So consider this a home and home series, returning the favor. And number 3, I was the safest bet to not say something regrettable. Please look around. There's a lot of wild cards in this audience. I am honored that you picked your most boring and predictable friend to officiate this joyous union. Every love story is unique. Every love story has ups and downs, successes and challenges. And for Niicholas and Natalie, that could not be more true. They started out meeting at a work conference and built a friendship texting cat memes back and forth. That friendship developed into something else, a long distance relationship. Now, if you've ever been in that situation, you realize how hard it is to develop bonds. Niicholas and Natalie both wanted me to stress how effective they were at establishing a strong foundation of communication. When I first heard this, I was a bit surprised. Niicholas, the guy that sends 2-word texts, the guy that takes a dozen texts to send a single sentence, that's your excellent communicator. But I was wrong. Natalie accepts Niicholas's machine gun texting style, and Niicholas has figured out that is an effective way to communicate with Natalie. It works well for them, and that's what matters. As the relationship evolved, they realized how much they loved each other, and significant sacrifices would have to be made. How do they close the distance? Who is going to sacrifice proximity to family and friends? How will this affect their careers? All of these factors are significant, but when you love someone, it really doesn't matter in the end. They just wanted to be together. And so Natalie made the first huge sacrifice. She moved to Denver, they bought a house together, and went about building their pet paradise, as you can see from our guest today. Things are going great, the relationship is progressing, Niicholas decides to propose, Natalie says yes, and then life got in the way. But in the end, this made you stronger. This may have been your greatest test as a couple, and you passed with flying colors. Which brings us to today. All of your family and friends, the people who love you more than anything, are gathered here to celebrate you. Cherish it. If you like being the center of attention, this is as good as it gets. This will be the only time this group is around each other to celebrate, so let's all enjoy it. So what does the future hold for you? I have no idea. And that's okay. It's actually one of the great things about being a couple is that you get to experience the unpredictable nature of life together. I believe one of the main reasons you work so well as a couple is that when things are unpredictable, you have so much fun together. I actually have a story that helps illustrate that point. So about a year after Niicholas and Natalie together, while they were still long distance, my wife and I traveled to Portland to go see them. Natalie was nice enough to set up a wine tour outside the city. There was a group like 8 to 10 of us, and she ordered a bus. And the bus arrives, and I wouldn't say it was street legal, but it worked for our purposes. So we get outside the city, pretty far out, and we're going up a pretty steep hill, and the bus dies. We're going 5 miles an hour on the interstate. It is frightening. We eventually get to the top of a tall hill. We have to coast to the bottom in order to get off said interstate, right? Kind of a scary situation, but no bother. We end up calling 2 Ubers. First Uber arrives, half the group goes. The second half of the group waits for the second Uber. The second half of the group was Bride and Groom, my wife and I. Second Uber doesn't show. No big deal, right? Order another one. Nothing available. We call the bus company. We'll be there to pick you up in 2 hours. So we're stranded by the side of the road. I don't even know if we have cell service for most of the time, and frankly, the day is ruined. Except it wasn't. It became so much fun. We had some drinks, we listened to some music, and the highlight of the day was, and for the parents, I swear this is PG rated before I say it, the highlight of the day was a joint pole dance between Natalie and Nicholas to the song White Wedding by Billy Idol. And this was the point that I knew they would work. Now I know that sounds a little bit strange, but hang with me for a second, is that there were 2 reasons. One, they were so synced up. It's like they've been choreographing this thing for weeks, right? Nicholas would go up, Natalie would go down, he'd go one way, she'd go the other. And when you see a couple that is that in sync and so locked in with each other, you know it's something special. And the other thing was the look on their faces. God, they were so happy. Just the bright smiles, you could just tell that they were happy to be in each other's company. And that's really the most important thing, right? So as the years play out, remember this joy. You're both gonna grow and change in this relationship, both individually and as a couple. And again, that's okay. Come back to this strong foundation of happiness you have built. So what does the future hold for you? I still have no idea. But I know it's gonna be filled with love and joy just by being together. All right, now we are going to exchange vows. Nicholas, would you go first, please?
Thanks. Natalie, when we first met, my eye was caught by your contagious energy and ability to thrive in a complex environment. I had the pleasure of sitting next to you for 2 days at a work conference support desk over 7 years ago, and it didn't take long for us to form a friendship. After the conference ended, I went out with your team, and we ended up hanging out late into the night, listening to music and attempting yoga postures. The very first picture I took of you was you standing on your head. Our friendship blossomed through email, talking about film, mainly Tom Cruise movies. Your love for anything vintage. I mean, look around at this place. Cats, fashion, and places we wanted to visit. I loved your sense of adventure, thirst to see the world, wanting to experience new things, and to always be evolving. You always, an important lesson I learned from you was the importance of being with nature. You always call it forest bathing, but it's one of my favorite pastimes with you, and I can remember so many great conversations and falling in love with you while finding some crazy waterfall or all of a sudden coming out of the forest to see the Pacific Ocean. The life we have built has flourished here in Denver, and our family has grown. We've encountered the largest of obstacles, but that never has deterred us from living life to the fullest and planning for our future together. The resilience you have shown in wanting us to succeed is more meaningful than words can describe. We have 3 beautiful fur babies, a feng shui living space, and endless possibilities for what comes next. We have always talked about one day having a business together, and I look forward to hatching one of our crazy ideas down the road. I promise to always put you above all else and make you feel heard. Our relationship is built on trust, and I will be open, honest, and my realest self at all times. I will work hard to be an evolving individual and continue to grow with you on this magical journey we have begun. I feel like the luckiest person to be marrying you. I love you today. I love you tomorrow. And I can't wait to love you for the rest of my life.
Mine's a little longer. Nicholas, the first time I met you was when you had just returned from London and started your new gig at Thrift Step. And as our new account manager, you came in to do a presentation in front of my team at the Secure World office. And I remember you standing out to me more than the average person would in this scenario. And this was for a couple of reasons. First, the tongue ring. Second, the number of times you said, "Cheers, mate," was more than the total times I'd heard in my life. And third, how enthusiastic you were about the information you were presenting and how you exuded more passion than anyone I'd ever seen while doing their job. I would say we all took notice of your positive energy that day, and we're excited to learn that we would be working with you moving forward. Fast forward a couple of years later, after a few conference run-ins and angry app clients handled together, you definitely began to stand out to me more. I was obviously going through a tough time, and your sense of humor, charm, excellent cat YouTube video taste, and assertiveness to continue writing thoughtful email exchanges began to spark something in me I hadn't felt in a long time. And something just told me to take a chance on you, even though at surface level you seem like you could be trouble. And boy, was I right. You definitely shared some of your past stories as we got to know each other, and man, what a life you had lived. But as a Sagittarius, I was really just impressed by how willing you were to lay it all out on the table, and how direct you were right from the start. Such an Aries. And despite my initial fears, you continue to go above and beyond to prioritize our connection and let it be known that I was important to you. There really was no turning back after that Boston trip. I fell hard. And from that moment on, the adventure began. We got to experience each other's cities and many cool places, eventually meet our closest people and start to merge our lives, which came surprisingly easy. And while the distance wasn't always easy, it certainly helped us work through our differences at a much earlier stage. I think that neither of us was very simple or easygoing. Or I think we learned that neither of us is very simple or easygoing. Both middle children who have to have the last word, always assuming someone's out to blame us. But I think that it also helped us understand each other better. And gradually we worked through this, and we really just continued to grow our connection and also to grow as individuals. That's one of my favorite things about you. You're never willing to settle or be okay with the status quo. You go above and beyond in everything you do. And even if you don't admit it, you have the biggest heart and are willing to give more than anyone I know. Nicholas, you've already helped me conquer so much in this life and given me so much strength. During times I didn't know I had it in me. You've demonstrated that there are always controllable things worth focusing on when the uncontrollables become too much. You've been my co-pilot, allowing me to take flight, but with you always close by, watching for danger and ready to intercept anything bad that may come my way. You are the best chef. You take great care of the animals in our home. You're the life of the party one minute and giving a mysterious gaze the next. You are the most unique person I know. And to top it all off, you have seriously trained up my G Suite skills and helped me stay on top of all of life's tasks. And while we know how to prioritize a good time, we cannot deny that there will always be stressors that will pop up in our life. Whether it's animal piss, a shitty day at the job, an illness, there is no one else I'd rather share the good and the bad with. And so I promise you a few things as we move forward in this next phase of our life. I promise to continue to share the fun, spontaneity, and adventures with you, and sometimes even pack in too much. I promise to continue to understand and prioritize your needs above anything else. I promise to overanalyze everything and share my innermost feelings with you, but to also make up for it by listening to you list off everything you accomplished that day and will in the next week while relaxing in the hot tub. And I promise to continue to be your biggest fan and love you more deeply as time goes on. Nicholas, you are the most incredible man I love you so much, and thank you for choosing me to spend this crazy life together. Oh, thanks.
Good job, Mike.
All right, now we're going to exchange rings. So I need to get that from the bride and the groom's family. Thank you so much. We're good. Thank you. All right, who do we want to go first? Do we have an idea?
It doesn't matter.
All right. Yeah. Take it back. All right. Natalie, repeat after me. I, Natalie Boyer,
I, Natalie Boyer,
do take you, Niicholas Cantillo,
do take you, Niicholas Cantillo,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
for richer or poor,
for richer or poor,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
There you go. Nicholas, repeat after me. I, Niicholas Cantillo,
I, Niicholas Cantillo,
do take you, Natalie Boyer,
do take you, Natalie Boyer,
to be my wife,
to be my wife,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
for richer or poor,
for richer and for poorer,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
Now, as part of their vows, they've decided to do a unity ceremony. So, as part of the unity ceremony, they're going to put their vows into a time capsule. The idea is that they will pull out this time capsule once per year and read each other's vows to each other. They will also add a memento for both of them for each year of their marriage so they can track how they are changing over time.
These words never sound quite right. Let's find our own kind of language. We have searched the whole world and all around it. Didn't know what we were looking for till we found it. They could say they've seen the highest mountain, bottom of the deepest sea, but no one's ever seen a love like this. They could dig up all the buried treasures where it's worth more than anything, but no one's ever seen a love like this.
All right, by the power vested in me by the internet, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Nicholas, you may now kiss your bride.